Police officers were chasing two dirt bikes. Then, one rider pulled out a phone. A few minutes later, motorcycles and ATVs began appearing from different streets until the two suspects were surrounded by an entire crew. Now officers were not chasing two people, they were chasing a moving crowd. On January 16, 2025, at approximately 3:52 p.m., the California Highway Patrol received reports that motorcycles and dirt bikes were racing on the westbound 60 freeway near Rosemead Boulevard in the South El Monte area. Officers moved in and attempted to stop the riders. The two riders refused. The first suspect was a young man. The second was a teenager. Both wore hoodies. Both were riding dirt bikes that could move through traffic far more easily than a patrol car. As soon as police tried to pull them over, they accelerated away. The pursuit began on the freeway. However, the riders did not remain there for long. They left the freeway and entered the streets. A police cruiser has to follow the road. A dirt bike does not always have to. That gave the riders an advantage. They could use narrow spaces and turn into places where a patrol vehicle would have to slow down. CHP units followed from the ground while a police aircraft and television helicopters watched from above. The two riders continued through East Los Angeles County. They switched between streets and freeway sections. At one point, they traveled against traffic on the 710 freeway. The riders avoided a serious collision and continued. The chase passed through East Los Angeles. Then it moved towards Pico Union, Mid-City, and Inglewood. For several minutes, the pursuit remained focused on the same two bikes. Then something strange happened. One of the riders started using his phone. He seemed to speak to someone or send a message. At first, nothing changed. The two dirt bikes continued alone. Then at around 4:45 p.m., other riders began arriving. One bike appeared, then another, then several more. Within moments, dirt bikes, motorcycles, and four-wheel ATVs were approaching from different directions and joining the two original suspects. What had started as a police chase was turning into a group ride. At least a dozen additional riders joined them.
The original suspects were now almost impossible to isolate. Some riders pulled alongside each other and exchanged fist bumps. Others looked up and waved towards the news helicopter. Then they began doing wheelies. Riders lifted their front tires from the road while surrounded by traffic. Some swerved between cars, others spread across several lanes. From above, the scene looked organized and chaotic at the same time. The group would spread apart, then gather again. One rider would accelerate ahead while another crossed into a different lane. Police now faced a difficult decision. Stopping one motorcycle safely is challenging. Trying to stop nearly 20 riders without causing a mass collision is much harder. Any attempt to block the road could send a rider into a car. Any contact between a patrol vehicle and a dirt bike could cause serious injury, and every additional rider made the situation less predictable. The group continued across the county. Then came another moment that made the chase feel almost unbelievable. Some of the riders stopped at a petrol station. They were still being monitored. The helicopter was still above them. Police were still nearby. But members of the group pulled in and refueled their bikes. For a few moments, the pursuit appeared to pause. Then the riders returned to the road. Once again, they split into smaller groups and moved in different directions. Some continued performing stunts. Others rode close to traffic. Several waved at the cameras as if they understood that thousands of people were now watching them live. The two suspects had disappeared inside the larger group. Officers could still see the riders, but it was now difficult to identify who had started the chase. Eventually, police called off the ground pursuit. The risk had become too high. A police aircraft continued following from above, hoping to track the group until officers could safely approach them later. But the riders kept separating. Some turned onto side streets, others disappeared beneath overpasses or mixed into normal traffic. Eventually, the helicopter was unable to continue the pursuit. The group escaped, and no arrest was announced.